Yolan True, and welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And it's really interesting at the moment what experiences I'm making after starting a new account in parallel to my big account for those new start videos, to show the difference between starting 3 years ago and starting now and how sped up everything is. But by being on more than one server at the same time, it also gives you experiences that you don't expect, because on my main server, everybody knows certain things, at least the people I know, so we never discuss that anymore. But being on a new server, I realized that a lot of people still don't know a few things which I thought are quite kind of common knowledge nowadays. And that's why I wanted to make a little crew reminder video today for players on not so high levels yet. And I'm talking about players getting started with the freebooters, and also the people in the 40s levels that want to hunt freebooters and want to hunt a little bit higher freebooters than they're doing right now, for example. And so I want to give you a little reminder of my freebooter crew that I used at the time, with officers from a certain group that you probably will have earlier than the others. And so let's have a little recap. As a captain, I would use Strange New Worlds Pike. He's one of those you also can get via the Mantis, so it's quite easy. He increases your shield mitigation, and he decreases the hostile shield mitigation. And I would combine him at that point, because of the sourcing of the officers at the time, with Strange New Worlds Una. She's only bringing you a bonus on impulse speed, but she does give Pike a synergy. That's why I would include Una there, as long as you don't have all the fancy newer Strange New Worlds officers, which most probably don't have at the point. And as the third officer, you need to use an officer made for your ship class. So if you are using, I'll finish that sentence in a second, but we first have to restart. Yeah, it's still as stable as it is. Talking about stable, Scopely is always doing my ad break here. Still working on getting a new device. One of my viewers invented the action plan for a stable STFC. I'm getting very close there. 5 viewers also gave some support for that. One of them is from my, I called him a little crazy, but I'm very grateful for that one. But I'm getting very close already, and that's one of the reasons why. And that's also the reason the budget for this month that I would have put into the game, if there's a ship coming next week or whatever, I put into that fund. So I will not spend anything in December on the game for a ship or whatever. Sorry about that, but the new device is much more important. So if you ever thought about supporting my work on STFC, have a look in the video description, the pinned comment, or on Discord. That's the best way where you could support me at the moment. Well, let's go back to the officers. No, not to the factions, the officers, and sort by name again so I can find them. So, as I said, use Pike as captain. Take Una with you, because you probably will have those two first, and then use the officer for your ship class. If you are on a battleship, use Strange New Worlds Ortega, because her officer ability is increasing armor, shield deflection, and dodge by 500% of total health when attacking hostile explorers from a battleship. So if you're using a battleship, put Ortegas on it as a third officer. But when you're hunting freebooters, then of course stick to the combat triangle. Only hunt explorers. If you're using an interceptor, use, where is she? Strange New Worlds Uhura, there she is. She is made for interceptors and only attack battleships. And if you're on an explorer, then use Strange New Worlds Spock as the third officer. He does the same as the others, just for an explorer when you attack interceptors. So always Pike and Una for your starting freebooter hunt, and add the officer for your ship. Ortegas for your battleship, Uhura for your interceptor, and Spock for your explorer. And my viewers, probably a lot of you will have seen that video that I made on this, but even in my new alliance on the server where I'm doing that new start account, I have people who never have heard about this. And that's what I meant with the experiences, why I sometimes need to do an update like this, because that immediately got one of my alliance mates to suddenly end up on level 42 to hunt the level 60 freebooters. So of course it also depends on your research and everything, but with this crew, you probably, especially if you're working with PMC, which you should never use against freebooters, but nevertheless, you probably can go a little bit higher if you use this crew that I'm suggesting here. So just try it out. And if you want to add something about the starting crew for freebooters, then please write in the comments below the video and on Discord. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.